The Denver Broncos absolutely blew past expectations in 2024. Sean Payton's second year there, rookie QB in Bo Nix, a top defense for sure, but an offense with more holes than Swiss cheese and more questions than answers. Even with all that, they finished third in the AFC West with a 10-7 record and clinching a playoff berth for the first time since 2015. However, they were easily eliminated in the AFC wildcard game against the Buffalo Bills, losing 31-7. But last year was the spark that this franchise needed, a spark for hope that hasn't been there in nearly a decade, and the Broncos would then recognize instantly what they needed to be done, and what they did next is truly incredible. But before we get too far into today's episode, I do just want to give a quick shout out and thank you to the sponsor of today's episode, Prediction Strike. Prediction Strike is the world's first fantasy sports stock exchange where it pays to be a fan. Have you ever heard your favorite sports personality say they had stock in that player since day one? Well, Prediction Strike makes that a reality. With the lowest fees in sports at 2.5%, you can start trading today. For example, the Steelers just traded George Pickens to the Dallas Cowboys. If you wanted in on that right now over on Prediction Strike, George Pickens has a share price of $4. And not only that, CeeDee Lamb has a share price of $8.02. Thousands of people are already participating. It's time you put your sports knowledge to work and do the same. Get in on your favorite players, the next superstars, and the players you know are being slept on. And right now, when you use code DDS when making your first deposit, you're going to get a deposit match bonus of up to $200. Thank you and shout out to Prediction Strike. Now back to the video. Last year, the Broncos defense was one of the best in the league, ranking third in points allowed. They led the league in sacks with 63 total. They led the league in pass rush with a 56.9% pass rush win rate, and they also were among the top defense in interceptions. Now, it probably helps when you have the Defensive Player of the Year, Patrick Surtain, back there. All of that to say, the Broncos defense was by far the most improved area of the team in 2024 compared to years prior. So what does Sean Payton and this Broncos staff do in the 2025 offseason? They signed players like Talanoa Hufanga and Dre Greenlaw, both to 3-year deals. They draft cornerback Jahdae Barron in the first round and re-sign linebacker Justin Strand. So, of course, Payton wasn't playing around with his defense going into 2025. But all that to say, it wasn't even the most impressive thing they've done yet. See, going back to when I said the offense had more holes than Swiss cheese, more question marks than answers, well, one of those huge question marks was at tight end. And what do? They go get one of the best available tight ends on the market in Evan Ingram, who has been a top player at that position year over year the last few years, and sign him to a 2-year deal. Another glaring hole was running back, especially when they shipped them all off. And we all know Sean Payton loves him some older running backs out of the draft. Well, they hit that nail right on the head when they drafted 24-year-old running back out of UCF, RJ Harvey, in the second round. That draft capital shows how highly they not only think of him, but value what he's going to bring to the table in this offense. See, RJ Harvey really didn't get going until 2023, where, in 2022, he had 796 rushing yards, a few rushing touchdowns, but it wasn't anything incredible. Whereas in 2023, that's where he gets started. 1,416 yards, 16 rushing touchdowns, and that's not it. In 2024, RJ Harvey had 232 rushing attempts for 1,577 rushing yards, 22 rushing touchdowns, and that's not it. Because he's also pretty good at the pass-catching game, where he had 20 receptions and 267 receiving yards for 3 receiving touchdowns in his final year at UCF. And we're still not done with Harvey, because he holds the UCF all-time record for touchdowns and is second in rushing yards. He also earned multiple academic accolades, including the 2022 AAC All-Academic Team. Harvey knows his stuff. And at 24 years old, this is the perfect guy for Sean Payton in this Broncos offense that, of course, needed running back. And in the second round, that's incredible. With everything they've done this offseason, it's not hard to say whatsoever that it should be obvious the Broncos finish higher than last season, should go deeper in the playoffs than last season. They have all the tools of a strong top-tier NFL team. So why does it seem so quiet? Why does it seem like everything they've done has been happening in the shadows? Sneaky almost in how much they've done and how good they could be in 2025. I'm not sure, but I'm telling you now, the Denver Broncos are going to be a true threat in the 2025 season. Book it. If you enjoyed today's video, it would help me out so much if you would not only like it, but subscribe. I am growing this YouTube channel, and every single week we are going to be having a new YouTube video up without fail. So go ahead, like, subscribe, and until the next video, see ya.